Okay, hello once again. How you doing? Good afternoon, wherever you are, all over the world. So today I wanted us to quickly discuss something that came up on my mind, and that is the secret of marriage. A lot of times we see that so many people struggle with getting married right. They struggle with getting it right in marriage. And it's hurts me most times when I see this happen because God intended that marriage should be enjoyed, but nowadays you find out that so many people are not really enjoying it. So I wanted to talk about it. To talk about marriage, we have to first of all look at it from this lens. The reason why people can succeed at a thing or not succeed at a thing is the knowledge that they have on it. That means the right knowledge that they have on the particular issue at hand. So that means that if people have the right knowledge about a thing, then it's most likely that they will succeed at it. If they have the wrong knowledge about a thing, they might not succeed at it, right? We agree with that. That means that if somebody knows how to cook and he or she enters the kitchen to cook, he or she will be able to make a great meal. But if someone doesn't know how to cook, no matter how long he or she spends on the kitchen, it might come up as nothing good or nothing tangible, right? So let's take it from that. So that means that if we all have the right knowledge about marriage, we'll be able to make it work, we'll be able to succeed greatly at it. And having established that, number one thing I would like us to look at is you cannot talk about marriage without first looking at the one who created marriage, the one who ordained marriage. Who ordained marriage? That is God. So that means you cannot look inside of marriage without first considering the one who brought it into my who originated it, the originator. Okay, let me give an example for that. You cannot use an iPhone without using the manual. That means you have to go into the mind of the one who created the iPhone to know how it functions, by looking at the manual or by checking their website or whatever. So that also applies to us in marriage. You cannot look outside, you cannot look into marriage, you cannot get value from marriage without considering the one who ordained marriage. And who ordained marriage? That is God. So that means for anyone who wants to enjoy marriage, who wants to have a beautiful marriage, I know a lot of singles are, based on my interactions with them, they are actually interested in having good marriages, even though most of them didn't go through um, a good home. They didn't come from beautiful homes themselves, but they really desire it. And that is the desire of God. So it brings us back to who originated marriage. That is God. So that means that we cannot even embrace marriage without embracing God, because it was the one who ordained marriage. So that means we have to embrace God. We have to know who God is. We have to get into his mind to know what was in his intention at the time that he created marriage, at the time that he ordained marriage. What was in his mind? So we have to know God. So that means number one criteria for anyone who wants to enjoy their marriage is to know God. You have to know God. You have to be somebody who even knows who God is. You cannot know um, a product outside of the creator. You have to know who the creator is. You have to know who God is. Then begin, have a relationship with him, bond with him, have a wonderful intimacy with him. And then you can begin to now understand what is concept of marriages. I'll use myself as an example. While growing up, I knew that I wanted a beautiful marriage because I didn't really come from one as such, but it was my desire because I wanted something really, because I was already growing up knowing who God was, who God is, and I knew that based on my experience with God, I realized that He wanted something good for me. So I knew that if He ordained marriage, then that means that I also could enjoy marriage. So I started, by the help of the Holy Spirit, I started getting closer to God, getting closer to God. And by my experience with Him, I realized that I was doing good things for me. So if God was doing good things for me, not all the time, was doing good things for me, I realized that if he was doing this, then that means that he also wants me to have a beautiful marriage. So that also increased my intimacy with him. So this also brings us back to the fact that you have to grow intimately with God. You have to be growing with him to be able to understand why he ordained marriage. And this brings me to the next point. You cannot be the only one that knows God and then you go and choose a partner that does not know God. So, in as much as you are making every effort to know who God is and to walk in his ways, you also have to be intentional about the person that you pick, about the person that you choose, about the person that you want to grow in, because you both cannot belong to two different creators and expect that it will work. So whoever the person you're going to marry is, he or she must also be somebody that firmly believes in God. So in as much as you're putting in effort to grow intimately with God, because a lot of times people just say, oh, he goes to church, oh, he's a believer. No, it goes beyond that, because a lot of people are in church that don't actually have a relationship with God. So whoever we are going to marry has to have an intimate relationship with God. So you have to be very intentional with that. Six, make sure that whoever it is not just going to church, is not just a believer on the record, has to be somebody that has a relationship with God. Because marriage itself normally is work. Marriage is work on its own, and it cannot be shouldered by one person. You both have to put in the work. So whoever it is you're joining in holy matrimony with also has to be someone that is fervent with God, that loves the Lord, that knows who the Lord is, and knows what it is about the kingdom, that knows what it is that God expects from us as his children. Do you understand? Number two part is you must hear God. If you want a beautiful marriage, if you want a beautiful marriage, you must be able to hear God, and most times people start fidgeting when it's time for them to get married because they are anticipating who they will marry, and then they want to hear God at that moment. Please begin from right now, wherever you are. Even if you are searching already, or if you are not searching, begin to desire an intimacy with God, whereby you begin to hear him. The Bible says, my sheep hear me and they know my voice. You have to know the voice of the Lord, so that when it's time and you begin to feel, oh, it might be this person, you can confirm from the Lord if this is actually the one he wants you to marry. You can confirm if this is not. But it's not at that point in time when you're about to make that decision. It has to be a consistency with God. 5 minutes today, 10 minutes tomorrow. Begin to grow, begin to draw closer to God, because he also has been drawing closer to you. So begin to grow in your intimacy with God. You no matter who your friends are, once they call you, you can actually pinpoint who they are, even if you are not, maybe they are just somewhere and you're hearing their voice. You can pinpoint, oh, this is my friend. That is the same way with our relationship with God. You have to be able to know the voice of God, so that if he's giving you a warning, or he's telling you, oh, this is the person, you can be able to presume that indeed this is God. Let me share a quick story. While waiting on the Lord, while trusting him, after he told me to hold on, that's a long story, I'll share someday. He told me to wait. I should end my present relationship, because I came to a point of brokenness where I knew that I wanted more in life. I wanted more in God. I had everything going well, but I knew I wanted something else, something deeper, something greater. So I came to the Lord crying and in tears, broken, and he told me to end my current relationship. And I had to do that through tears. But I just knew that there was something more that I wanted. So I ended that, and then God will say, I have to hold on. I must not marry anybody unless He tells me so. Now, you see, one of the importance, my story might not be your story, but most of the time, you still come to that point where you need to rely on the voice of God to really ascertain that He's the one telling you what to do. So he told me not to date anyone until he gives the go ahead. So I had to wait. And that was not a month, that was not 3 months, that was not 6 months, it was not a year. It was close to 2 years, before the Lord now came back by himself. A lot of people were coming, but he kept telling me, no, that is not the person. No, that is not the person. No, that is not the person. I missed tears and all of that. Eventually, he came back also with his voice to tell me, so that is why it is important that you hear the voice of God. It will really help you a lot to get it right in marriage. Marriage is a beautiful thing, despite what people say. A lot of people have wrong ideas about marriage because of what they've experienced or what they've seen people experience. But I tell you that marriage is a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful, beautiful place to be. I mean, who wouldn't want to enjoy a beautiful thing? If there is a beautiful thing, who wouldn't want to enjoy it? That is why I'm saying, please take your time in order to have a beautiful marriage. You have to really take your time. You have to trust on God. You have to know God. First of all, build that intimacy with him, and then begin to aim, begin to grow in him, so that when the time comes, it will make it easy for you to spot the voice of God, so that no one will fall to the pranks of the enemy. So number three also is that you need to know how to pray. See, prayer is one thing that I wasn't even embracing in time past. I never really believed in. No, I did, but I never believed that. I just felt when I need a thing, I come to God in prayer. I tell him, if he wants, he answers. If he doesn't want to answer, he doesn't answer. But as time went by, I began to realize that prayer is actually something that we all as believers we must never do without. It's one of the ways that we can actually harness into marriage. and much more than marriage: purpose, life, fulfillment, grace, joy, peace, honor, wisdom, prosperity, favor. Everything is embedded in that communication with God. So you need to, I want you to begin to open your heart to prayer. You need to know how to pray, begin to pray, and begin to seek the face of your Father in prayer. So with this point of mind, say you're going to get the absolute best of God. You're not just going to get the absolute best of God, also you also are going to grow into the person that the Lord desires you to grow into. And then with that knowledge, with the knowledge that your partner also have, your spouse also have, you're going to build a beautiful marriage that will be a great template for your children and for even generations and generations to come. Do you understand? God bless you. Thank you so much for listening. Go ahead and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe to this channel, like, and see you on the next time. Yeah. God bless you. Bye.